Hey there, founders who hit that $3 million in revenue year mark, can't seem to push any further? This is the video for you. My name is Mark Scala. I'm Amazon bestselling author and fractional CMO, COO, and I help founders build systems at scale so you can grow revenue, regain control, and get your life back. If all of that sounds like what you're chasing, give this video a like and hit follow. And if you're ready to talk about fixing your structure for real, hit the link in my bio and book a call. So today, let's talk about the systems gap, as I call it, and why 80% of founders get stuck right around that $3 million in revenue. Here's a very hard truth. Most founders don't hit a ceiling because of market limits. They hit it because they never built a business that can grow without them. At around $3 million in annual revenue, your energy as a founder stops being enough to power the entire machine. Your personal hustle, the thing that got you to the $3 million mark, that got you here, it becomes the very thing that's holding you back. And that's something that I call the systems gap. It's the invisible line between momentum and management, between the founder doing everything and the business finally running itself. Here's typically what happens. You've got leads, you've got customers, you've got demand for your product or your services, but you don't have systems that can handle everything. And at that point, no amount of try harder from you is going to fix it, because this isn't about your personal effort anymore. It's just about design. So, Mark, what's the systems gap? To me, it's the space between your vision and execution, between what you know needs to happen and what actually gets done when you're not in the room. Most founders have plenty of vision. They've got the strategy, the goals, the market insight. What they're missing is the operational structure that translates that vision into consistent, repeatable execution. You don't have a leadership problem, you have a translation problem. And the systems gap shows up in a dozen tiny ways. Project stall waiting on your approval. Or team members hesitate to make decisions. Or maybe marketing launches get delayed because the boss hasn't signed off on it yet. Typically, you're going to see revenue goes up, but so does your stress. Any of this sounding familiar or starting to sound familiar? The truth is, most founders mistake motion for management. They see everyone busy and assume things are working. But busyness isn't structure, it's just chaos with a calendar. And until you fix the systems gap, you're going to keep spinning faster and faster without scaling everything. This reminds me of a story of a founder that I worked with who was running a pretty fast-growing digital agency. She hit right about 2.8 million in annual revenue and was convinced she just needed a few more clients to get over that hump. So what did she do? She hired another salesperson, which then required her to hire 2 more account managers. And then she needed a project coordinator. And within 6 months, her payroll had ballooned. Her profit margins pretty much vanished, and she was working harder than ever. And that's the paradox of the systems gap. You keep adding people, but not systems. And every hire that you have actually increases, if doesn't multiply, the complexity instead of reducing it. Her particular breaking point came when she realized every client escalation, no matter the size, still ended up in her inbox. And that's when she said, I thought I was building a company, but it turns out I was building a bigger job for myself. And that right there, that's part of the $3 million plateau in a nutshell. More people, more revenue, more bottleneck. The business didn't hit a money wall, it just hit a systems wall. And here's the irony. We all know you don't hit $3 million by accident. You get there because you're talented, you're driven, and relentless. But those same traits that fuel early growth start working against you past that early growth stage. Early on, success depends on you being the doer, resourceful. Later, success depends on you not being the doer. You need to go from being the engine to being the architect. And that transition is brutal if your business still depends on your personal energy in order to function. So you can think of it like this. You're trying to build a skyscraper on the same foundation you poured for a cottage. It's not that you need more bricks, you just need a stronger blueprint. That's the systems gap. And if you don't redesign how your business works now, it's not just going to plateau, it's going to eventually collapse under its own complexity. All right, so how do you know if you're running into a systems gap or if you've already fallen into one? Well, I give founders a simple test. I call it Three-Level Systems Audit. It is brutally honest, but it works. It's very simple. Here's how it goes. Level 1, reaction versus routine. Ask yourself, do I spend my week reacting to problems or following repeatable routines? Because if every day feels like firefighting, you're missing operational rhythm. Level 2, information flow. Does information move through your company or through you? If every decision requires your brain power, you're the system, and that's a dangerous place to be. If your Slack notifications sound like a heart monitor, that's a problem. And level 3, the scalability stress test. If you doubled your customer base tomorrow, what would break first? And if the answer is anything close to everything, well, you've officially hit the systems gap. And that's the real point of the test. It doesn't tell you what's broken, it shows you how close you are to burnout. And once you see your systems gap clearly, well, you can start to rebuild. And this is where everything changes. I want to give you 3 practical shifts that move you from founder-powered growth to system-powered scalability. Number 1, document for decision-making, not just tasks. Everyone knows they should document processes, but most founders stop at creating a checklist. The real leverage comes when you document decisions, not just actions. What do you mean, Mark? Well, here's an example. When do you discount a deal? When do you refund a client? And whom decides what urgent means? If you take the time to answer those once clearly, you're going to stop answering them 100, if not 1,000 times more later. Number 2, design ownership, not oversight. The best systems don't just automate tasks, they empower people. Give your team frameworks, not permission slips. When everyone has to check with you before acting, you haven't built trust, you've just built traffic, and all of those roads lead right back to you. Number 3, create a feedback loop that measures health, not hustle. Stop tracking how much your team is working and start tracking about how much the system is producing without you having to intervene. And that's how you know you're finally scaling, when progress continues even when you personally pause. Scaling isn't about speed, it's about sustainability. And once you fix the systems gap, the $3 million plateau stops being a wall and it starts becoming a launch pad. The exact framework is what I break down in my book, The Leverage Point, because founders don't fail for lack of drive. They usually fail from structural fatigue. The book walks you through how to document, how to delegate, how to design systems that make growth inevitable. Inside, you'll learn how to run the CEO bottleneck test and see where work bottlenecks around you. The system mapping process to visualize your entire operation in one place, and how to replace founder dependency with the scalable decision framework. When the book first launched, it hit number 1 in several categories in pre-sales. Not because the book's flashy, but because founders just like you everywhere recognize the same pain that you're feeling right now if you're watching this video, and they wanted a way out. So here's the bottom line. If your business is stuck right around that $3 million in revenue, it's not because the market's capped you, it's because your systems have. You don't have a sales problem. You don't have a leadership problem. You have a systems problem. But the good news is that's entirely something that's fixable. Once again, my name is Mark Scala. I help founders build systems at scale so you can grow revenue, regain control, and get your life back. If this video hit home, hit the like button. I'd love for you to follow me. Share with another founder who's hit their own ceiling. And if you're ready to close your systems gap for your company, go grab a copy of my book, The Leverage Point, or you can book a clarity call with a link in my bio, because $3 million isn't a money wall, it's a systems wall, and it's time for you to break through it.